Hello, friends. Welcome to the second installment of the Funky and Sublime Sacred Text. It's a funky and sublime sacred text. It's a funky and sublime sacred text. It's a funky and sublime sacred texts. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. I have an exciting installment for the next little jing-jang that we're going to be doing, and it is about. I'm actually going to be doing two sacred texts, so you're going to get a little more bang for your buck in this one. So, without further ado, here we go. So, what we're going to be talking about is, what we're going to be presenting is the concept of metta, the practice of metta. Have you all heard of the word metta? It kind of gets around nowadays. It's out on the scene, man. But no, if you haven't heard of the word metta, it is essentially, it's a Pali word from ancient India that the Buddhists really love to use and to practice and cultivate. And essentially what metta means is, it's usually translated as loving kindness or goodwill or friendliness. Yeah, I mean, you get the picture, right? So it's this feeling of unconditional love, extending out to all sentient beings. And that's what the Buddha is going to be talking about in these two sacred texts that we're going to be presenting. Now, I'm going to call metta friendly love, because it's this feeling of, when a really good friend, you have this love for them that is sort of non-attached. It's like this really open, friendly sort of feeling, and that sort of captures it. There's no attachment there. There's no neediness, just the love that you have for a good friend, or the love that you have for a little baby or a puppy, something like that. Just this warm, friendly feeling. So anyway, let's jump right into it. I think you guys get the picture. We're going to start with a text called The Discourse on the Benefits of Loving Kindness or Friendly Love. The benefits of metta. And what the Buddha does here is he gives us 11 benefits that we can derive when one practices metta. Okay? So, check it out. Here we go. This is what I've heard. On one occasion, the Buddha was living near Savatthi at Jetavana in Anathapindika's monastery. Then he addressed the bhikkhus, saying, "Hey, y'all! That's a fact, Jack!" said the... Sorry, buddy. I'm doing stripes now for some reason. The Buddha spoke as follows. Friends, 11 advantages are to be expected from the release of heart by familiarizing oneself with thoughts of friendly love, by the cultivation of friendly love, by constantly increasing these thoughts, by regarding friendly love as a vehicle of expression and also as something to be treasured, by living in conformity with these thoughts, by putting these ideas into practice, and by establishing them. What are the 11? Well, he or she sleeps well. He or she wakes well. He or she has no nightmares. He or she is loved by other humans. He or she is loved by animals. The gods protect this person. Fire, poison, and weapons cannot touch this person. This person's mind very quickly is concentrated into deep concentration, samadhi. This person's countenance is serene. This person dies without being confused in mind. And if he fails to attain complete awakening in this lifetime, then he'll be certain of gaining it next time around. So there's a few things there that and then the Buddha goes on to say these are the he kind of basically repeats himself because that's how the old scriptures work. But anyway, so what's being talked about here is pretty easy to see. There's a few things that people might be like, oh well, I don't know about that, but that's okay. You don't have to worry about that sort of stuff if you're not into the idea that spiritual forces, gods and whatnot, protect one who has a loving heart. You can look at it more in a metaphorical sense by thinking of the fact that when you have this very open, friendly, loving, non-confrontational way about you, then nothing can touch you, right? And that's the same with when he says that fire, poison, and weapons cannot touch you. It's that same sort of concept that one, in a sense, goes beyond the body and the world and lives in a realm that cannot be touched by these lower things. So you can look at it like that, if you like, that's essentially what it's referring to. So take that with however many grains of salt you wish. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to recite or chant the Metta Sutta. That is the discourse on friendly love. This is something that's chanted daily in many communities throughout the world, throughout the Buddhist world especially. But it's a wonderful little teaching that we can all reflect on and benefit from. So here goes. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desire, is not born again into this world. So, there you have it. That's the Metta Sutta. Very fun thing to chant. Gets you feeling all nice and friendly and loving with everybody. You know, it's just my own sort of reflections on the practice of metta, of friendly love. I always remember this one incident that took place when I was living as a monk in Thailand. And I was practicing metta a lot. And on one particular day, I was really dedicating myself to it throughout the day, really, you know, filling my heart up with this loving feeling for all things, all beings. And I decided to take a walk outside of the forest monastery where I was living. So I went outside of the gates and out into the rice paddy expanse jungle of northeast Thailand, and you know, very secluded, sort of uninhabited area. With, you know, rice farmers like here and there, but basically very, very quiet, very secluded area. Spectacular, just, you know, really, really awesome. But as I was walking down this, you know, this tiny little road amidst like the jungle, and having all these, you know, really generating, cultivating these feelings of love, a very sort of overwhelming feeling was being cultivated and generated. And the next thing that I witnessed was something, and again, I'll never forget this, because it was the most bizarre spectacle that I'd ever seen, almost, you know, like, I will try to describe it. As I'm walking down the road, out of nowhere, it seriously seemed as though it was just kind of, it just appeared. It didn't come from somewhere, it just appeared. And what it was this this vehicle of some sort, this contraption, that, like, I can't even describe it. It was this huge, long, metal contraption with wheels, and it was rolling down slowly down the road, and there was about a dozen Thai farmers, or a family of farmers, young, from like 6 months old to 10 years old to 30 years old to 100 years old. This whole big family of just people on this contraption that's just slowly rolling. And I seriously, I can't even describe what this thing was. It was just bizarre. And I have this feeling of this, I have this feeling of metta and love, and I look at these people as they pass by me, and nobody said a word, but they had these, like, if you ever, Thais have, on the worst of days, Thais have the most beautiful smiles on their faces, especially when you're way out in, the middle of nowhere. Very happy, friendly people who have been steeped in, feelings of metta. It's seeped into their culture. But anyway, these people were just, they were the epitome of this love, of this metta. And I'll never forget it. And we just looked at each other, all of them, with these big smiles on their faces, and me with a big smile on my face. And I'm in like monk's robes, and I'm walking through in the middle of nowhere, and they just emerge from the forest, from the jungle, and then back again, anyway. I probably sound like a complete nutcase because, whatever. I can't quite describe it because it was so bizarre. But to me, it solidified this idea that when our hearts are full of love and friendliness and openness, our whole world is transformed. And that's, really that's the takeaway from practicing metta. Our whole world is transformed. And don't take my word for it. Practice it just very briefly throughout the day and see how your world is transformed when you have feelings of love and friendliness towards anyone and everyone, from the ant, crawling across your floor, to the lying, conniving, hypocritical politician. Right? So anyway, that's it, man. That's it. We'll end by doing a little brief metta practice. So what you can do is sit comfortably, back nice and upright, and generate this warm feeling in your heart area. And you can picture your heart as this soft, warm, glowing light, like the sun. You breathe into that heart, that sun of wisdom, and you breathe out. And now you can picture in your mind imagine something in your life, something that you can imagine that you have unconditional love for. It could be a pet or a little baby, something that you have no, there's no attachments there. It's just love. So picture this little beautiful loving entity and your heart going out to it, and breathe in and out. Just soften everything with this feeling of friendly, unconditional love. And when you have this warm, open, gentle feeling, you can now extend this outwards to nothing specifically, but instead to all beings. So with the inhalation, you can imagine taking in, removing all of the suffering that all beings may be experiencing. You breathe all of that in to release them from that. And then as you breathe out from this bright, open heart, you breathe out these light rays of warmth and compassion and love. And you let this radiate out throughout the entire world. So you just breathe in, removing all suffering, and you breathe out, spreading love, radiating love everywhere. And anytime a thought comes up that takes you away from that, whatever it might be, even if it's positive, but especially if it's negative, you can just notice it, welcome it, say hello, I see you. Hey you, I know you, I know you. You're not mad at it. You're just pointing. That's a Saturday Night Live reference from the 80s. Classic. Anyway, warmth, goodwill, friendliness, love. Send it out and receive the benefits. You might say to yourself, oh, well, screw the world, blah, blah, blah. What has anybody ever done for me? That sort of thing, right? Fine, sure, fair enough. But practice metta, if only for yourself, because there's a dirty little secret with metta. When you practice love and compassion for others, you hugely benefit yourself. It makes you feel good. When you're thinking about others and wishing them well, some stupid, silly little thing happens inside that makes you feel extra good. So I don't know, do it for that reason then, right? Anyway, that's the end of this. What am I calling this? Funky and sublime sacred text. It's a funky and sublime sacred text. It's a funky and sublime sacred text. Adios, amigos.